and it's got this lovely rich red soil. That's where Kirsten's from. She's got red hair, you see. Maybe she's got lots of iron oxide in her. What do you think, Brian?
Most likely.
Most likely, hey.
Explains why she's so grumpy.
It does, yes. It explains her rather sort of stern nature. We're going to be in a lot of trouble when we get home. Okay, we're popping out now into the clearings, and we'll see what we can find. And Chris Rogue, you wanted to give a shout out to the hyena group on Facebook. Yes, absolutely, we could do that with pleasure. So here it is, a shout out to the hyena group on Facebook. It's called the Hyenas of Djuma and Arathusa, and it's a wonderful group which keeps tabs on all the hyenas that we have here. And if you want to know about the hyenas, how to identify them, where they are, where they live, what the updates are, it's a great way to do it, and it's a brilliant group. So thank you, Chris, and thank you to all of you who maintain it. It's a great resource, it really is. Some blue wax spills, and that's for the 4th of July, of course. Did you see the blue wax spills? There you go, blue wax spill, everybody. Yes, please. I can't believe how excited I'm getting by seeing a blue wax spill. There we go. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Very nice. Oh, there's something else down there. That might be a cinnamon bun bird. You see on the little ones on the ground there? It may have moved. No, there's still two blue wax spills there. If you're wondering where Jamie is, everybody, she is waiting to get into a rather special sighting, so that's why you're not with her. A special sighting that will give her how many points, Brian?
Half.
Correct.
Yep.
Maybe 1. No, I don't know where those other things went. Gracie, we may have just seen a cinnamon bun bird, but I'm not sure. That's a pity. Let's go a little bit forward. We might see them again. These grassy clearings are always a little bit productive. There we go. Now, keep an eye on the ground here, Brian. They would have landed somewhere around here. Cinnamon bun bird, where are you? Cinnamon bun bird, where are you? No, I see not the cinnamon bun bird. Sorry, Gracie. We'll keep looking, I promise. Right, let's go back down towards that pan. Hello, Viv. I'm really struggling to hear the final control, but if I hear your question correctly, you want to know if there are ever any records of birds attacking humans in Africa. Is that correct? Affirmative. Right. Viv, yes, I mean, yes, a little bit. Like that crowned lapwing over there, if you get too close to their nests, they will attack you, or they'll fly over the top of your head and they'll dive bomb you and make you feel very uncomfortable. But they won't do any harm to a human being. The bird that you've got to watch out for is a human being. Well, I guess there are two. If you're a very small human being of about 2 or 3 years old, then the thing you need to watch out for is probably a crowned eagle. A crowned eagle in some areas will attack people. Very seldom, and not if there are adults around, but if you live in an area where crowned eagles occur, and you've got kids playing in a garden, or kid on his own playing in a garden, it is quite possible the crowned eagle could take him or her, but it's unlikely. The bird you'd have to watch out for the most that could do physical damage to you would be an ostrich. An ostrich can do serious damage, and they have killed people from time to time. And what they do is they kick. I think much like an emu does. They kick, but they kick forward and they hack. Is that just a piece of tree? I think it is. Yeah, it's a piece of bark. I thought it was maybe a kill hanging from the tree there. They kick forward, and when they kick forward, they can sort of grab you here and they'll disembowel you, and so that's what you need to watch out for with a giraffe. Not a giraffe. Did I just say that? Did I really just say that? I did, didn't I? Yeah. No, not a giraffe, an ostrich. A giraffe will kick you, but with both legs, back and front, they can kick. But otherwise, you'd be safe from the birds here. No Alfred Hitchcock-esque scenes have played out here in Africa, where swarms of nasty birds attack and kill people. And it played on a very nice phobia, that film, you know. People don't like that the flapping wings around. And when I was a kid, certainly before I became a bush person, there's something tremendously psychologically awful about a bird flying around in a confined space, the flapping wings. And I remember being deeply troubled by birds flying about in a room, if a bird came into the room, for example. I'm still scouring the land. I can hear some crombecs. It's the same as a bat. You know how if a bat flies onto your face? Well, that can be a very unpleasant experience, don't you think, Brian? I think I've spotted a herd of impala, Brian. I have. Way the other side of the clearing there. I still don't see hide nor hair of a zebra, and there were so many of them here recently. I think we're going to have to leave these clearings, Brian. Okay, let's go down to them and then we'll head further to the west. Alright, let's go across to Jamie, get an update. She'll tell you a little bit about the surprise sighting that she's got to show you shortly, I hope.
Okay, guys, so we've sort of not counted ourselves out of this competition, but we have basically counted ourselves out of this competition, but that's because we have a really, really special surprise for you. What we're doing here, I know I'm quite quiet, I'm whispering because we're not actually that far away from where we need to be. It's been made a one-vehicle lock, and we happened to become first on standby just because we got really, really lucky, and Ryan from Arathusa is incredibly kind to us. We found him as he found the surprise. So it's one vehicle only. We are waiting for Ryan to finish up enjoying his time with the animal that he tracked, and then we will be able to go in and have a look at whatever it is. I think he's about to call me in. Standing by. Absolutely no problem, Ryan. Take your time. We'll do a loop. Cool. Okay. So Ryan's just asking for an extra 10 minutes because things have changed in this sighting and it's become even more exciting. I'm not really keen on telling you what it is, but I think most of you will have guessed by now and guessed just as to where we are. Suffice to say, it's been a while since we last saw this particular surprise, but we're going to wait here until it's time for us to pull in. We're going to give Ryan plenty of time because he tracked and found the surprise on foot. Alright, back over to James, who is probably by now streaks ahead in this competition, but that's okay because we've got even better things planned.
Ah, crested barbet, everybody. I'm not sure if she told you what she was going to look at, but it does sound very exciting, and I'm rather jealous and excited for you. Anyway, I think you're going to enjoy it nevertheless. Right, there it is, the crested barbet. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Let's go back towards 3 in a row Pan, and then we're going to head out of Cheetah Plains. You can see some lovely cloud formations all over the place. We're now 10 ahead, everybody. That's 10. It's quite a few, Brian, don't you think? I think so. I'm very impressed with us. I think we're amazing. Especially as it's Jamie. You know, she's rather good at this sort of thing. Okay, we're going to move quite quickly down this way because we've covered this area before. Oh! Wildebeest! There it is. Yes. Hello, Karen. You want to do a shout out to all, or special 4th of July shout out to all the chatters on YouTube, Ustream, and what's the other one? Nat.Geo. Nat.Geo Wild, Ustream, and YouTube. Thank you to all of you for the time that you give us. It really is much appreciated, and without you, of course, this would just be two idiots driving around the bush looking at animals, where it's much more fun with a whole lot of people to share it with us from all over the world, and on today, of course, in America, the Philippines, and Rwanda. He's quite a splendid fellow. On his own, and unusual that he hasn't found a herd of impala to lurk around with. You see that lovely brindled colour around his ears and onto his neck. He's got quite a long coat, you know. He's got a little bit fluffy for the winter time. That's very nice. And look at him, that's a brilliant picture. So he's obviously eating grass, that's pretty clear. But he's also eating relatively short grass. And apparently they'll tell you that the zebra eats slightly longer grass than them. And if you watch a warthog feed, I don't know how many how many of you watched the last time we super zoomed a warthog snout feeding. They scuffle under just lower down than where that wildebeest is eating. You can see he's getting a little bit of the stolons, that's the underground stems, but largely it's the leaves. This is fantastic. Hey? This is actually a very, very nice area for them to be grazing. And his nose twitching away there. And these guys will maintain, they'll maintain a lawn. And you can see, I mean, this kind of grass cannot be that nutritious. And it's fine for a little bit, but after a while, especially as the dry season progresses, it'll be more and more difficult to maintain condition. Does that wildebeest have one eye? No, there it is. There's the eye. Phew. I don't know what that hole is just below the eye. We don't often get to spend time like this with the wildebeest, I've got to tell you. It's a very special little sighting. Not quite as special as the one that Jamie's taking you to, but almost. Don't you think, Brian? Almost. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's spectacular. I wonder if we were to open the shot on, or come live with a picture like that, if you'd be able to identify what animal it was. In the mane. This is so cool. And you can see the stripes very clearly there. We don't tend to think of them as being striped animals, but they are. We think it helps break up the outline, and maybe not quite as black and white as the zebra, but definitely covered in stripes. You can hear a completely silent afternoon. There's no birds calling at all. I think that's got to do with the cold. I would say. I might be wrong. But I think that's what it is. What do you think, Brian?
I think so too.
Alright everyone, let's move on from here. Wonderful wildebeest. Now, Kitra in India, you want to know about the wildebeest migration and whether they have one here in Kruger. Chitra. Sorry, I'm struggling to hear the names, as you can see, as Kerry and Kathy will attest to. Chitra, no migration in the Kruger, no. There used to be, apparently, between the permanent water sources of, say, the Sand River or the Sabi River, and then during summer they'd migrate up to the perennial rivers like the Timbavati. Now there are two reasons they don't do that anymore. One is the provision of artificial water, so you've seen those pans, we were at those water holes today, and so that means they don't have to move from one game reserve to the other. And then also the drying up of some of the perennial rivers, or at least of the annual rivers. So if you go up to an area like the Timbavati, there's a massive, massive riverbed there, with a river that only flows probably once a year and only for a couple of hours at a time. That used to flow during the summer and keep permanent pools just about all the time, and that doesn't happen anymore, and that means that there's no point in this great migration going up there because there isn't any real water. But yes, absolutely there used to be a migration, but humans placing water everywhere has put paid to that wonderful migration. And the number of wildebeest. Wildebeest like to migrate, and there are substantially fewer wildebeest in this area than there were, say, 30 years ago. Well, I thought I saw something there, but I think it was just the light flashing through that broken down piece of bark. It's rather good of Jamie to give us this time, don't you think? And Larry, you say you were watching that unbelievable BBC show, The Hunt, and you were watching the wildebeest taken out by those wild dogs. It is an astonishing, astonishing sequence, that. And the technicality, I found watching the behind the scenes thing afterwards even almost as fascinating as watching those wild dogs hunting. But they have managed again to put together a unique sort of sequence on how things happen in the wild. A really brilliant, brilliant scene. And if you haven't seen it, everyone, do yourselves a favor and go and hear David Attenborough narrate you through an unbelievable wild dog sighting. I think it was taken in Botswana, if I'm not mistaken, with some astonishing equipment, but really spectacular stuff. And to see any animal at eye level, I mean, they film these dogs pretty much at their eye level. To see any animal at eye level is just moving at eye level is so unusual, because we have our human perspective, and to get right down on the ground and watch how an animal moves is I think it was just brilliant. They got a wonderful tiger hunt as well, and you should, if you haven't seen, there's a very, very large elephant. We know this guy. He's that tuskless bull, enormous tuskless bull, and that's not totally uncommon. It's not usual, but it's not that common either. Unfortunately, every time I push a Rusty's clutch in, it goes. I'm just going to wait here a second. He's got a little bit of a fright from us. Paul, you want to know if it hurts when the tusks break. It will. Paul, it's just like you pulling a tooth out without an anesthetic. I'm sure it hurts horribly, and there's a very long nerve inside the tusk, but this animal hasn't broken his tusks, I don't think. I think that he was born without them, and that does happen every so often with these elephants. They're born without tusks. You've got to be a little bit wary of them. They can sometimes, or so I'm told, tend to be slightly more aggressive because they've been bullied. But I've never seen that, and this guy doesn't seem to be at all. And you can see how he's enormous. I mean, he's a fully grown bull, and he's got no tusks at all. We'll just stop here and let him come into the clearing next to us. I'm sure he's going to have a drink at the pan there. Oh, I can hear a southern black tit. Isn't that nice? Very strange to see a big behemoth-like bull without any tusks. Very odd indeed. You can see where the tusks would have erupted, but they ain't there no more. Oh, and I can hear a red-crested korhaan. He does look a bit sad without tusks, don't you think, Brian?
No.
A bit mournful. Let's follow him down to the water. We'll follow him at a distance. I think he's in must. I can't smell anything. Let's see another one there. Walking very slowly towards the water to have a drink. He's not in a rush. Alright, everybody, Jamie's got a surprise for you, and I don't think she can be there very long, so let's go straight across to her now.
This is definitely a sighting that we've been looking forward to having. It's Shadow, guys. Shadow, and somewhere hidden in here is Shadow's cub as well. And she's got a monkey kill that she's currently feeding on, crunching away. I don't know where the cub is, so I'm speaking very... Oh no, that's a log. That's not a leopard cub, that's a log. This will be my very first time seeing Shadow's cub, and it's the first time I've seen Shadow in ages as well. So we're absolutely really privileged to be here, and so lucky that Ryan called us in when he did. As James mentioned, we can't be here for too long for a couple of reasons. The main one being that it is starting to get dark, and there are a couple of other vehicles that would very much like to come and see the sighting. So we've just got to hope that Shadow's little one decides to show itself. There we go. We've got it. Well spotted, Dave. Oh my goodness. It's okay, little one. Hi. It is lovely to meet you. Heard so many good things about you. What's your clever mom got? Oh, look at this. Absolutely incredible. He's stalking mom already. And so beautiful. 4-month-old female cub. How lucky are we? Hi. Aren't you gorgeous? This is absolutely the best way that this day could have gone. I'm so excited. The first time I've seen this cub. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you're watching a 4-month-old leopard cub live from the African bush. It really doesn't get better than this. Look how relaxed it is. Can I have some too, Mum? Absolutely fantastic. This is Karula's daughter, Shadow, and Karula's granddaughter. So much smaller and fluffier than Karula's cubs are now. Sneaking around towards Mum. Obviously, Mom not in the mood to share. So little cub is finding other ways of amusing itself, including sniffing the apple leaf. Our Shadow, when she first had these cubs, decided to den them on a main road. And what that meant was... Oh! You've got to know which branches will bear your weight and which ones won't, I guess. Little Phlegm and Grimace. I didn't even know that they Phlegm and Grimace this young. How amazing is that? Almost imagining it going right to the edge of that branch and then being flung upwards like a spring. What's there? What smells so nice? And James, the closet royalist, apparently has been calling this little cub Zara. This is absolutely magical in this afternoon light. Marvelous. Thank you, Shadow. Neither will this sighting for us. We will have to leave very, very soon. But this has been such a marvelous moment. But we can't deny other people the opportunity to view this sighting in this glorious, dappled afternoon light. And hello to safari lover Elaine while we watch one of our newest additions to our Safari Live family. You want to know why they're called cubs and not kittens? So the babies of all of the big cats, which fall into a different, genus, a different genus to our domestic cats and the smaller cats, they are given a different terminology. They're called cubs rather than kittens, because they're part of the Panthera family. I think Shadow's about to cough up a hairball. She's making the most peculiar burping sounds. She might have eaten a bit too fast. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm so thrilled. It was worth losing the competition just for this. And Dean, in Nelspruit, you were wondering, as Shadow provides us with a few burps, what the chances are of Shadow and Karula's cubs having the same father. Oh, coming to get a little bit of food. There we go. She only ate half of it. She left the rest for her cub. And the answer is very, very high. They both mated with Tingana, and we think that Karula also mated with Anderson. We know that Shadow definitely did. So whilst it's impossible for us to know, chances are there's a very high percentage chance that the cubs have the same dad. Of course, leopards not bound by the conventions of the traditional family. Guys, we do have to go. We can't hog the sighting. It's just one of those things that's been found at sunset. I have to call in the next person. Let me just get onto the Game Drive channel, find out where they were. Station on first standby for Shadow and Bontuan. What's your position? Okay, copy. If you want to start making your way, I'll pull out when you get here. Okay, so we've got about 2 minutes or so before we have to... I know I've put us in an awkward place, but I don't want to scare the little cub away. I think we're okay though. I think this little cub is incredibly relaxed around vehicles, so let's try to get a nice view before we have to pull out. Okay, we're just going to switch on and let the engine run a little bit. Okay, cub hasn't stopped feeding, Shadow hasn't stopped grooming. I'm going to stop there. I don't want to scare it at all. So even if it's not the best view in the world, we'll settle for it. There's Shadow, the marvelous mother. Well done, girl. Caught a monkey. Clever, clever girl. Giving herself a jolly good groom. Just goes to show, guys, the sacrifice that leopard mothers make for their cubs. She left most of that kill, and I think she was hungry, judging by the speed at which she ate it. She left most of that kill for the little one, who unfortunately has dragged it into a very awkward position. I can just see some movements behind the leaves. Now, apart from birds of prey, leopards are pretty much the only thing that are capable or agile enough to catch a very sharp-eyed and agile monkey. Oh, little cub, come on, one last view. Sorry. One last, there we go, thank you. And while our little cub feasts on Mom's monkey, Canada Keith, how common is a monkey kill for a leopard? Relatively. I couldn't give you an exact percentage. If I had to guess what percentage of its diet it makes up, maybe between 10 to 15%, maybe a little bit less. It's something we can double check what James thinks on the fireside chat, while I gloat about the cub and he gloats about his victory in our ranger race. But they are, as I said, probably the only mammal agile enough to, one of the few mammals to agile enough to regularly catch a monkey. Oh, amazing. So tiny and already weaned, but little teeth not always that strong, or at least the jaw muscles not quite strong enough to pull away the meat, and a bit of shaking is what's necessary. Kelly in Florida, you're right, it might not be a pangolin. Oh, look at that. Isn't that incredible? I think we deserve a lot of points for this. Actually, to be honest, Kelly, Ryan and his tracker deserve a lot of points for this. And he made that point. When he left the sighting, he asked to just remind me that the 6 ones that will be delivered to him later will be cold upon arrival. And some of you will understand exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. We do owe Ryan big time for this sighting. The monkey presenting something of a challenge for little leopard teeth. Yes, little cub, I hear the sound of the vehicle too. On its way. Oh, look at that. Possibly the rest of the week. Very gruesome. Decidedly gruesome. Oh. Standing by. Copy. I'm pulling out now. Okay guys, time for us to go. One last look at the cub. Absolutely extraordinary. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Shadow. Oh, look at that. Oh, you naughty little thing. Okay, guys, we have to go. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. How incredible was that? Hissing at Mom. Little brat. Goodness gracious. Mom provides dinner and then gets hissed at by cub. Vehicle to approach. Oh. Wow. While we shuffle around here, it seems it's an afternoon full of babies. Back over to James.
This ridiculous creature in front of us. Hello? Yes, you're so big and brave. Look at him. He's got his face in the mud. I can't even see him. Sorry, and the mother is just next to us. She doesn't care less. She thinks he's being ridiculous as we do. This is just too wonderful for words. He's thinking about touching the car, you know. He's too close for my sorry, we're going to have to move. We just had to turn the car off on, everybody, because there is the mother got a little bit irritated. How's the audio now, Kirsten? Just suckling now, look at that. She wasn't irritated at all with us. She just obviously thought baby was getting too close. She's very close now. She's only about 3 feet from us. No. Come on, little fellow. You stay with your mum. It's fascinating. You know, she was watching us so carefully. And she wasn't in the slightest bit worried about us. Look at it suckling there. It's an unbelievable picture. Oh, she's so lovely. Look at her. She's got such a calm about her face, but that'll get very changed completely if she decides that we're a threat to her little baby. And the baby turned us into a bit of a threat there. I don't think it was us at all. Isn't she lovely? Unbelievable sighting. Now my plan, everybody, was to take you to some mating lions, and I'm not sure that we're going to make it in time for the fireside chat, because this is too special for words. So close to us. I find myself leaning towards the left of where I'm sitting because she is so very close. She's now kind of dropping off. That is an incredible picture, people. We don't see that. You can see how the suckling takes place. Just throwing some dirt. She's too close for me to take a picture with my camera. I'm having to use my phone. Which is just amazing. She's only 3 feet from the car. Hey, don't be silly. Stay there. Right, don't laugh at it. You're encouraging it. This is unbelievable. Whew. That shadow you can see. Oh, you can't see it actually. Yeah, let's just stay exactly on that picture. It's just too wonderful. Look at her trunk there, Brian. You can see my shadow on it. Go on then. You've been tremendously kind to us. Thank you very much. No, you being silly. That's it. Stay with your mum. That is just... Thank you. No, don't worry. We're not in any shape, way or form a danger to you, I promise. Off you go. Ah, wow. I think we're going to skip those lines because we're going to have to go to our fireside chat. Just remember the fireside chat, everybody. Look at that. Sun is going to be on our normal stream. So I know many of you struggled with that Facebook streaming thing that we tried to do, and we will do that again once we've got decent bandwidth to do it with. There's another tiny little one. Also a little bull. Trying to climb a tree like Zara. I just had to get that in there. Gee whiz. So what happened there, I think, everyone, was she was completely relaxed with us. She didn't even look round. That little thing came too close. I mean, that little thing was half a foot from the car when she turned and she thought, no, that's too much. And she came to within what, Brian? I mean, she came to within sort of 2 feet of us, maybe. And then she stopped as I started the engine, and she didn't she wasn't angry. She was just kind of saying, whoa, what's going on here? I don't understand. Let's everybody back off from each other. And the little one did, and then she was fine. You saw her nearly drop off there. She nearly fell asleep. Her eyes went shut, and that little thing was suckling. I don't know that we've ever had a shot like that before. Yes, you're going to get us into trouble, little bull elephant. Hey! Michael, you want to know how much milk a little fellow like this is going to drink a day? I actually don't know, Michael. That's a really good question. I really couldn't tell you. I'm going to guess at around probably, this is a real guess, I'm going to say 5 to 10 litres a day. Now, I mean, that's ridiculous because it's, it's 100% different from each other, but it's the closest I can get. I'm keeping an eye on her. She's not vaguely reacting. Now she is. She's coming to fetch her baby. There she is. The little one is now standing 3 feet from us. If she comes any closer towards us, I'm just going to move off because we're going to escalate a situation that doesn't need to be escalated. He's just playing. Yes, but very big and strong. But you also mustn't learn to do this, of course, because once you do weigh 6 tons, this will be substantially more terrifying than it is now. Look at him. Now she's she's fine. She's not even looking at us, Don't be silly. He's tempted to touch us, I don't know what that face planting thing is that they do every so often. I've only ever seen young ones do it. Where they come close up and then they don't know what to do. You don't move away, and so they plant their faces into the dirt, which is bizarre. He's so cool. And she's watching him so carefully. And every time he comes, he he's hiding behind a bush. Alright, everyone, we're going to have to leave, I'm afraid. We're going to have to move from here. And I'm going to have to take a slightly shorter route than I was. No, in fact, we can go out this way. Alright, let's go back to Jamie with the sunset. I'm not sure where she is, but maybe, Kirsty, if you can just tell her those lines are on hippo pools. If she's anywhere close by, she might be able to get them. One, sorry, quickly before you go, have you gone? Sleeping. You see the one sleeping on the floor here? Look, there we go. One little elephant snoozing, fast asleep on the floor, exhausted by the day. Completely exhausted. Isn't that awesome? Alright, on we go. Let's go across to Jamie.
And we are sitting and watching the sun go down from Impala Plains. I'm just marveling at what a wonderful day it is to be out in the African bush. I am, of course, biased because we've just come from a sighting of a leopard cub. Truly marvelous. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? And then the imposing silhouette of the Drakensberg Mountains, running for all the way from the setting sun and continuing south. And continuing south about 1,000 kilometers through South Africa. The Mountains of the Dragon. Woo woo! I hear hyenas. Should we go find them?
Yeah.
Yep, I think so. We may not have won the competition, Dave, but we sure as heck gonna go out with a bang. Let's go find these hyenas. Unfortunately, guys, we are too far to get to those lions. Just in terms of distance, short of throwing off Dave and Chelsea, throwing them off the back of the vehicle and then having to film myself, we won't be able to get there in time and then back across to Fireside Chat. Both Dave and Chelsea look relieved that that was my decision. I don't really think they fancy walking home, battered and bruised, having been launched off due to a bump. Right, hyena, I hear you. There's somewhere, it actually sounds like there's somewhere close to that buffalo kill that the Nkuhumas had. Now I think we've been talking about this, and we got caught in a situation where we had to choose a sighting. We had to choose the mating lions and the female that was with them, or we had to go back to the other two Nkuhumas with their buffalo kill. And we stayed with the mating lions, but apparently when the guys went back to the buffalo kill, it had been snatched by hyenas, which is what we expected to happen. There wasn't all that much left of it. But the hyenas dragged it onto Simbambili, which means that they do have, our clan does have a den site on Simbambili, or most likely they have a den site on Simbambili. Oh, Kirsty, sorry, I turned you right up there. My right ear is now throbbing. It was my fault. There we go. That's a little bit more reasonable. But yes, it looks as though they've got a den somewhere on Simbambili. So Gwen, the new hyena mother, she appears to be keeping herself relatively safe around the Galago shortcut den and away from the other hyena, and I think she's doing that because she's a low-ranking female. I think the rest of them have moved across towards Simbambili, which means that we only unfortunately ever catch fleeting glimpses of them every now and again when they come back onto Djuma. And it's interesting that they chose to move that far west, particularly considering that the Elephant Plains hyena clan is quite a large, not enormous, but apparently is quite a large hyena clan with quite a fearsome reputation. So it's interesting that our hyenas chose to move in that general direction. Alright, and keep our eyes peeled. It sounded like the hyena was calling from somewhere here. Of course, the difficulty being that hyenas don't tend to sit still as night falls, especially if they're busy territorially whooping. They often move about a lot. And here, there's the male. That's definitely the male. He's much bigger than the female, much stockier. Side-striped jackals. Awesome. I'm so glad they've stuck around. I was hoping they would have. Okay, I'm just going to go backwards a little bit. See if we can't see them from here. I think they're going to... Oh, they're going to go behind that tree. I see them. Thank you, Dave. I saw them. Thank you, Dave. They've just ducked there. There we go. Well done. Well spotted, Dave. Absolutely marvelous. So it seems as though our side-striped jackal pair have established themselves on Impala Plains and Sandy Patch Road, their little territory, a mated pair, and hopefully that means in the not too distant future the possibility of the pitter-patter of little jackal pup paws. Let's try for one last view. While we do, over to James, who's added another species to his list.
There we go, everybody. We've got some Nyala. We can't spend any time here. We have to head towards the fireside chat. So there they are, Nyala cows, young Nyala bull on the right-hand side. And that is that. Let's go back to Jamie and that special dog-like thing.
Dog-like things are... Where are they moving to? Just a little bit behind the tree. We're going to get a nice clear view of them up ahead. What a marvellous day. What an absolutely wonderful afternoon. Here we go. Setting out on their evening foraging. The side-striped jackal, female on the left, I think. She looks a little bit smaller than the male on the right. Amazing how wonderfully they've relaxed as well in terms of their comfort level with the presence of human beings and the vehicles. And as I said, I'm really hoping that in the next few months we might get little jackal pups if they den in one of the termite mounds around here. We're not going to try and follow them too closely because we want to keep them with this comfort level with the vehicles. And they seem to be relatively relaxed. We don't want to in any way stress them out. They're busy scent marking. And they are territorial. And they're territorial, so the females will defend a territory against other female jackals, the male against other males, and both of them will play a role in marking their territory. Trot, 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 trot. I wonder where they're off to. Jackal territories are generally not very large, but our jackals have an area that is almost a vacuum of jackal life, in that we didn't have any jackals around this area for a long time. So to start seeing a pair regularly is really, really exciting, because once they get more and more used to us, we'll be able to spend time with them in the same way we do with our leopards, lions and hyenas, and possibly even, I mean, we won't be able to go off-road for them or anything like that, but possibly even really get to know them and to sort of observe their behavior on a much more detailed level. Okay, so they're not running from us, they're not showing any signs of running from us, they're just on the move, and I'm going to let them move off and past us and towards Impala Plains. A jackal pair is a wonderful thing. Totally monogamous for life. They mate for life unless one of them dies, obviously. They raise their pups together, they play equal roles in raising the pups, and then the pups actually stick around with their parents to help raise the next generation before they move off and search for mates of their own. Okay. Trying to decide whether or not we should follow on. Let's just follow them to the curve of the road, because I think they're going to go off there. And then we will leave them to go about their evening foraging. Oh, they're actually trotting back. Oops, one gone. Here's the other one. Oh, I think they've both moved off the road now. Okay, that's perfect. In that case, we will leave them be. Now, speaking about jackals and jackals' pups, Joyce in New Hampshire, hello and welcome to the Sunset Safari. I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have. It's such a wonderful thing that we've got to spend time with these fantastic little animals. How many pups, Joyce? Between 2 to 6, but it's usually around 4. That, I think, is probably the average for this area. But I've seen jackal litters of 5 before, and they can, in theory, go right up to 6. Slightly smaller than the maximum of the other canid species out here. So the wild dog, and the wild dog, of course, is capable, a female is capable of giving birth of up to 20 pups from one adult female, which is phenomenal when you think about it. That's absolutely incredible. Jackal, slightly smaller litter sizes. Now we get both the black-backed and the side-striped jackal. The side-striped is slightly stockier, a little bit taller, slightly larger, but only fractionally than the black-backed jackal. And amazingly, they've evolved to fill essentially the same ecological niche. Little fox-like scavengers, but they tend to remain relatively separate from each other. They're found in exactly the same areas. And usually when you've got a lot of side-striped, you have less black-backed, and when you've got a lot of black-backed, you've got less side-striped. That sort of effect that they have on each other's populations. So a truly marvelous way to start winding down our Sunset Safari, and it's not yet over because we haven't got to the place where the hyena was whooping yet. And yes, absolutely, I think that is a wonderful idea that has come through from Ellen Fowler. Ellen Fowler would like us to send out a 4th of July shout out to all of the Karula and family group members who are watching today, and we're talking about the Facebook group. And Ellen, if it's alright by you, I'd actually like to extend that to all of our regular viewers watching out there. I hope that you've had a marvelous day, whether or not you are from the States or not, but for all of our viewers who've been watching for years and those of you who've only recently just joined us, I hope you have had a fantastic day. But a special shout out from Ellen, who has been a regular viewer for many, many years and knows all of the animals here exceptionally well, to all of the members of the Karula and family Facebook group. Right. hyena was calling from somewhere here, which is right next to where the buffalo kill was. Let us keep our eyes peeled, at the same time keeping an eye on the time. Here we go. Oh, that's a Dacre. Never mind. Sorry, little Dacre. Now, while we look for our spotted hyena, the most unusual of all of the mammal species in terms of their social structure and hierarchy, Bud, in North Carolina, you wanted to know whether there's ever been a recorded case of a male hyena taking over. Lots of tracks here. Let's just check carefully. Doesn't look like the buffalo's gone. Sorry, Bud. We'll get back to you in one moment. Buffalo carcass has gone, which is not a surprise. That's pretty much what I expected to have occurred. Lots of hyena tracks. Let's just look really carefully, make sure that they're not hiding away somewhere here. They might have decided to hang around in the hope of the odd scrap. The Bud's question concerns whether or not a male hyena has ever taken over and dominated a hyena clan, or indeed any of the females. And the answer is, I have never heard of it happening. I know that clan rails do play an important role in the social structure, but I have never heard of them taking a dominant role over a hyena clan. And it comes down to physiology. There's a vulture up there. That's not the best place I could have put poor Dave. But there we go. A white-backed vulture. No, it's not a white-backed vulture, sorry. I thought it was, it's not. It looks like a tawny eagle. My mistake. Yeah, that's an eagle. Sorry, everybody. I'm sure I saw a vulture earlier. That's definitely not a vulture. In fact, I think that tawny eagle probably feels a little bit insulted. Sorry. Sorry, you're not an eagle. I mean, you're not a vulture, you're an eagle. Looking beautiful in this evening light. Also attracted by the scraps, though. So, not a completely disastrous mistake, because there's a good chance that this bird is here also to try and feed off the scraps of the carcass. The eagle family not above scavenging themselves. But back to scavengers and Bud's question, just to finish it off. Physiologically, the male hyena are just that much smaller than a female. Even the smallest female is generally larger than the largest male. So I've never heard of it. Never say never, though, in the animal kingdom. Right. Now, I forgot completely about the competition. My mistake. Sorry, Kirsty, confirm I'm on 20. And James is on 29. And we have 10 minutes. Anything's possible, I guess. Off we go. The underdog is from the start, Dave. I think we're going to lose this one, Dave. I think it's okay. Thank you, Dave. I think it's alright as well. Okay, come. We're going to get all the nocturnal beasties. All 9 of them. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, everybody start looking very, very hard. I think we've lost, but it's okay, because I don't know that we could safely say that we lost. We did have a sighting of Shadow and her cub. But really, that's us being thrashed. That's absurd. We've lost by nearly 30%. No. No. Ignominious defeat. Okay, bush baby, let's at least round off the primate sightings. We might not have seen baboons, but we can still see a bush baby. And don't forget, If we find a pangolin, it's 150 points, Dave. No pressure. Now while we search for the spotted hyena that I know was calling somewhere here, Bradley, you'd like to know about its slightly shyer cousin, the brown hyena, and whether or not we ever see them. Well, Bradley, I haven't seen one on Djuma before. I have been fortunate enough to work in areas where they are relatively common, but they don't seem to be too frequently seen up here. Now, apparently one was seen with Peter Pretorius many years ago. There was much excitement. This was obviously way before my time. The truth is, with the lion concentration and the number of hyenas, spotted hyenas that is, it's not really a suitable environment for them. And that combined with the fact that there's out here, they quite like to den, or they often like to den in rocky outcrops and little what we call koppies. There's not really the most suitable of environments for them. Now, I haven't seen a brown hyena, but it's always a possibility. Never say never, because they do occur here, and I think that one of those should be worth 100 points as well, if we see one. But now we're shifting the goalposts a little bit. Okay, come on, bush baby. I still can't get over the cheek of Shadow's cub. That was absolutely marvelous. She's raised a precocious one. When Shadow went to go and eat, or even just, I think, have a sniff at the kill, her cub hissed at her. And it just goes to show the nature of leopards. They're solitary things, even with a very tight mother and cub bond, that deep maternal instinct. Even then, there is an instinct within them that is, first of all, survival based, and second of all, not as social. They're not social creatures. Although they have been recorded sharing kills, mothers and cubs, plus even occasionally the dominant male of the area. But I must say that was quite an interesting moment when the cub turned around and sort of bared its teeth at Mom. And I hope some of you have got some amazing screenshots of that sighting, because it was such glorious light, and I'm really looking forward to having a look through some of them when I return to camp after the fireside chat that is almost upon us. And just a quick reminder on the subject of fireside chat. Obviously, we attempted to put fireside chat on Facebook over the last few weeks, and clearly that didn't work out terribly well for some of you, for a lot of you. Fireside chat will be in its standard format, so we will be doing it as per normal, so you can stay tuned and we will go straight into fireside chat. And I'm sure James is frantically setting up as we speak, along with VM and Brian and Connor, and putting in all of the work that usually goes into a fireside chat. And naturally, of course, I hope you're all prepared to join in, actually, with the song at the end. Well, James, I believe, unless he was lying to me, which I don't think so, but you never know, he might have been lying to me, I believe it is a popular favorite that we all know the words to. Hopefully we will have many more moments to look forward to with Shadow and her cub. I'm sorry, it's wiped out every other thought from my mind. The first time that I have ever seen that little creature, and she is absolutely marvelous, and definitely nobody could accuse that little cub of being lacking in spirit. And apparently, just so you know, there is a chance we might be fractionally late for fireside chat. I am uncertain as to cause, but I'm sure there is Ah, there's some elephants on quarantine. I'm not sure if those two thoughts are connected, but there are apparently elephants on quarantine. Let's go find them to keep us entertained. Oh, never mind, that's why there was a delay. There were elephants on quarantine. There are no longer elephants on quarantine, in which case I was going to go the other way, but that's okay. We'll go this way. We have equal chances of seeing anything as night starts to descend. Well, you know, they can be forgiven for a late setup due. The nice thing about being in the bush is that whilst certain excuses don't work on your way to the corporate office, I have more than once used the reason that I was stuck behind an elephant or with a lion in the middle of the road. Sorry. A very interesting smell. Trying to work out what that was. That's immediately struck me as something unusual. You've got it too, Dave? I don't know what it is. At first I thought leopard urine, but it's not. It's too smelly, not to put too fine a point on it. I don't know what that is. Interesting. It's not often, to be completely honest, because we spend so much time out here, it's not often that we encounter smells that we can't identify. And now, of course, I've been smelling it too much. I can't smell it at all, as our bodies do. Huh. I don't know what that was. I'm trying to work out what it could be. It's not a plant. It's definitely not a plant. I wonder if it's not a secretion from something like a civet, or one of the mustelids or viverids, like an anal paste, maybe. I don't know. That was unusual. Very strange smell. It smelled a little, I don't know. Can't describe it, actually. Musky, I suppose, is one of the good ways of trying to go about it, but I've never been particularly good at describing smells or tastes. Kirsty goes radio silence. That's how I know things are going terribly wrong. That's okay. We'll keep you entertained as we drive, basically circle the fireside chat, looking for various things and perhaps looking for the owner of that odious scent. I'll leave James all on his own to manage fireside chat. You know when you really need to find something to say and you've quite literally run out of words and your brain is frozen? That's exactly what's happened to me. Is the moon up yet, Dave? No, we don't have the camera to look at the moon, do we, Dave? And there's no elephants, Dave. Oh no. This is most tragic. And I've run out of words. I've officially run out of words. My family members would be astounded. Now what? Connor is frantically racing to final control, apparently. Never fear, though. I don't think we will be giving you a 5-minute fireside chat. I imagine we will be going over time. At this point, what is it? We're 10:02 now. Right, where shall we go next, ladies and gentlemen? We don't really have many options. We'll go around the dam, I guess. Go see what's happening there. And And hello to Jonathan, who has mercifully provided me with a question, and I am very, very grateful for that, Jonathan. You're looking at the spotlight in my hand, and you want to know what it is we're looking for. Is it movement or reflection, or what is it? The answer is reflection. So it's actually almost easier to sort of, I mean, there's a little bit of skill that you can work at when it comes to spotlighting, but it's actually almost easier to spot animals by night with a spotlight rather than by day, and that's because they have that reflective layer at the back of their eyes called the tapetum lucidum, and that gives them their night vision, their ability to see in the dark. For the herbivores, the diurnal animals, that glow that bounces back at us is relatively dim. That's because they are not hugely active at night. But for animals like the scrub hare, oh, never mind. Scrub hare's gone. Sorry. For animals like a scrub hare or a civet or a leopard or a lion, their reflective layer it's very bright. It's almost like a hazard light is shining back at you. And there's more tricky things to spot. Chameleons, for example. Bush babies are a bit trickier. But you get very practiced at spotting things looking back at you in the bush. But we do not shine our spotlight on diurnal animals. We keep that well away from them, so as not to, if it passes over them. Oh no. Oh no! What a disaster! Not black screen as well. Poor Kirsty. Sorry everybody. I think I'm going to try and write it by going back towards quarantine. Long story short, we don't shine spotlights on diurnal animals, and Chelsea has just given a perfect why. Just took a picture. But that's not really as bad. It's sort of mitigated the fact that there is a presenter spotlight just underneath Dave. So, you know. Okay. We've done a huge circuit of elsewhere.